Well, it's time now to show you my experience at the pro-Palestine encampment at Oxford University. Fascinating case, Oxford, isn't it? One of the best universities in the world, supposedly a bastion of freedom of speech and academic rigour. However, this camp was set up, and since it was set up, at least 108 academic staff and other members of staff at that university have signed a letter of support to these pro-Palestine individuals. A Jewish student has reportedly been turfed out of this camp for refusing to sign a letter saying that they are bang in favour of everything that has been going on when it comes to Hamas's resistance to the Israelis. And as you're about to see, this is a seriously well-run camp. They've got a press team, a medical tent, different events, and some speakers throughout the course of the day. But as you're also about to see, these pro-Palestine fanatics, they're not really just all in a circle singing Kumbaya, but it did start out quite calmly. Here we are at the Oxford University encampment. It is just outside the Oxford Museum of Natural History. Hiya, are you all right? Are we all right? Just have a quick chat with a couple of people about why you're here and what's going on and everything like that. Is that possible?
So actually, most of us here would rather not give a comment.
That's fine.
But we have some people in the press team who might be free. Would you just wait here for a minute?
That's lovely. Yeah, thank you. Okay, brilliant.
Who are you guys with?
So my name's Patrick. I'm with GBNews. Thank you.
You guys are?
Hello. You're right. Yeah, so we've already got a load of masks there, a strong American accent and not a huge amount of racial diversity, but I was told that no one wants to show their face, and I wonder why. But now I'm going to give you a little peek behind the curtain, so here is a bit about how that camp operates. It says on this board here, it's day 4, community check-in at 10 a.m, Palestine and South Africa teaching at 3 o'clock, so I think we're maybe just about in time for that, actually. Liberation Fellowship at 6 and an open mic at 8 p.m. There's a row of camp jobs here. The bins, the litter check, the food tent assistant, a floor fix and water refill. There's a megaphone going on there saying that we're unfriendly press, which is interesting. Yes, GBNews is unfriendly press. Apparently it's also quite funny, wasn't it, that none of those camp jobs have been done and apparently they don't wake up before 10 a.m. But they certainly don't believe in the freedom of the press or the individual's right to freedom of expression. Roll on. Is it possible to have a quick chat with you? It's about why you're here. It's possible to have a quick chat with you about why you feel so strongly?
Yeah. Why don't we speak? Sorry, I'm new here.
But do you want to talk, though? Because it's...
Yeah, I mean, they asked me not to, but...
Oh, OK.
We do engage with press, just not this press, for obvious reasons. It's GBNews.
I'm not really, I don't really know.
But if that woman hadn't have come up and said anything to you, you would have spoken.
Actually, I do.
He does want to... I don't know if you caught that. He said he doesn't want to talk, and then he turned around and said, I actually do want to talk. And this is what happens at every single one of these events, right? So you go up, people are perfectly happy to talk, and then someone with pink hair who's decided to stop shaving her armpits comes up and says, no, don't talk to that lot, and then they get too scared. He was worried about being, get this, excommunicated from the camp if he dared to break camp rules. Also all normal stuff. I genuinely went there to ask questions and speak to people about their views, but rather than have a conversation with me, I was, well, physically swarmed.
Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine!
If we pan round, we can see that it's all kicking up a notch now. So, it's quite good. Yeah. You all right there? So, are you a student at the university? Can I ask, do you want to explain why Oxford is complicit in genocide? Oh, OK. If we turn it round, we can see that there's quite a lot of people. It's interesting, isn't it? Because one of the big criticisms of this camp has been that if you were visibly Jewish, that you wouldn't necessarily feel that welcome. And I think it's easy to understand why they might feel a bit like that. Yeah, so then, look, the longer I was there, despite the fact, I mean, the irony here, the great irony here is that if just one or two of them had spoken to me, we probably would have got enough material. I could have been on my way in a few minutes, but no, I have to hang around. And then it really did begin to kind of escalate. They were kind of pushing us back, or trying to anyway, until we left the camp.
Everyone's linked arms to try to force us, I think, out. It's a bastion of freedom of speech, Oxford University. Do you think this might be a bit fascist? Is this a little bit fascist?
Palestine!
No? Okay.
Palestine!
Yeah, there we go. And then even after we did leave, they still weren't quite finished. They were just charging after me down the road, gloating, there are more of us than there are of you.
That was the encampment there at Oxford University. Obviously, unfortunately, people didn't particularly want to talk. That's fine, that's their right, but, you know, people can make their own minds up about the kind of people here.
We're not touching anyone.
There we go, lovely. Has anyone ever told you might be behaving a bit like a fascist?
Yeah, there we go. I mean, look, I've been to quite a few of these now. The ones in central London have got a massive undertone of, you know, proper aggression and violence. That one, to be honest with you, I just thought was quite sad. Again, I'll just say it's a load of renter mobs, all people who are students, and they've decided that they're going to make some kind of glorious stand by dyeing their hair pink and refusing to shave their armpits. So let's get the thoughts of my panel. It's Daily Telegraph columnist Alison Pearson, Conservative peer Lord Sean Bailey, and the former Labour Party advisor Matthew Larser. Alison, as you know, just completely laughable as some of those individuals were, really. The point is that we had members of staff from that university, and this was pointed out to me by an academic who was at the university, who was sympathetic to some of the stuff that we were doing here at GBNews, tooting their horns on the way past. And you think, you know, how would it feel to be Jewish there, really?
Yeah, really horrible. My old university, Cambridge, they're all camped outside King's College on the strip of green, and the students are doing their exams at the moment. They have to walk past those tents, and there'll be a lot of Jewish students who are very upset. As you said at the top, the Union of Jewish Students, the NUS, basically trying to kind of cancel them and making all these anti-Zionist occupations. Look, being young and foolish is the job description of a student, but these people, they're supposed to be the most intelligent people in the country, and they are absolute idiots. There's a student, Oxford student, saying that as a colonised people, Palestinians have got the right to resist against occupation. Gaza isn't occupied. The Israelis left it in 2005. So the lack of knowledge. And I just want to say, Patrick, OK, about Jewish people in this country, we are losing. Jews are going to be leaving in their thousands our country. And these kids know nothing about history. This all started because on October the 7th, one of the most heinous massacres in modern history, and indeed the biggest slaughter of the Jews since the Second World War, took place. And they are having wellness sessions. Yeah. Leave it, just, it's horrible. It's really disrespectful and horrible.
It is, but it's also that point for me, you know, that's the closest I've ever got to Oxford University, to be honest with you. And I was always really in awe of it. Mentally, I was always really in awe when someone said to me, I've been to Oxford or I've been to Cambridge. I'll be honest with you, I always thought, oh, gosh, you might be better than me, actually, really. And I met a load of them today, and I thought, gosh, what a waste of oxygen.
Look, academic success doesn't automatically breed wisdom, is how I'd respond to that. What I would say is really disappointing for me, the whole notion of being a student is to debate, is to learn, is to test. And what they're doing is just rejecting. They won't have that conversation. And why it's a real worry, these are people who are very likely to end up in positions of power in our society. So could you imagine a Home Secretary who will not have a debate about anything? Can you imagine someone who just says, no, this is our way or no way? The problem for these young people and what they're doing, they're making extreme reactions to anything they don't like, the norm. And that is problematic. That's how fascism grew. Fascism works from the fact that we will stand no conversation. And they need to look at themselves because they'll have no conversation. They'll never know if they're wrong because they simply won't test it. And that's a real bad sign for this country.
Yeah, Matthew, I mean, what do we do about this? Because beneath the fact that there's quite a ridiculous bunch of individuals there all decided to live in tents and, you know, have Glastonbury without the fun, there is a serious undercurrent to this, which is that they really don't care about how uncomfortable they make a lot of people, and the university, and I would also say the police, aren't really doing anything about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the university would say it was trying to navigate a fine line between making them martyrs. We've seen, obviously, the footage of some of the removal of the American encampments, which have taken, I mean, they're bigger encampments, but they've taken quite a lot of kind of, bailiffs in hard hats, etc., and that becomes the focal point. But I think, I mean, I agree with Sean that the most depressing thing is their absolute unwillingness to engage in debate. I mean, if Oxford's famous for anything, it's famous for debating ideas from different perspectives. And, to me, it should be a punishable offence to get in the way of a free press. Yeah, and because, one day GBNews, who knows, what if it was a different channel and different... of course, you have to stick with the principle of freedom of expression. And so I hope the university authorities are watching on that front.
I would just make the point as well that it's easy because what I've decided to do is just get in amongst a load of these different things. So it is very easy to get the impression that they only hate GB News. And they do probably hate GB News. They definitely do. However, they do actually just really kind of hate anyone. I mean, they wouldn't have been massively in favour of the BBC rocking up there. The only ones that they like are, the Al Jazeera news van that turns up, realistically. So, it's not... You just hear more of it because I'm the one who's wandering around this stuff and actually physically getting it. Sorry, Sean, you were about to say...
It's troubling, and what Oxford University needs to look at is their reputation. I was invited to do a debate there very recently, and I fought twice and decided not to go, because I don't want to go to a place where they're just going to paint you in any way they want to paint you. I'm not sure they're capable of having a debate where you might have to argue something that they don't agree with. And that's important. Oxford, for centuries now, has been a place of fought, challenge, debate. They are destroying that over this one issue, and I think that's a real worry for us. And if I'm thinking, well, I won't go there, who else won't go there? Are there young people at home who think, I can't go to this place because... And the thing I'd say... Jewish people for years have talked about anti-Semitism, and as a black person, you've understood it as racism. This is an added element, and it makes me feel nervous. OK, once they've finished with the Jews, who's next? Who's next? I sat in a meeting today and heard about how Uganda has very bad policies around LGBT rights. I don't agree with them at all. But are they going to punish me because I'm black and Ugandans are black? I have to wonder that, because if you're Israeli, that's what it might feel like now. And these are the things they're not taking into account, and I really think they should.
Well, what's so ironic, isn't it, is that there they are with the masks on, so intimidating, and the Yasser Arafat memorial tea towel wrapped around them in the sort of ridiculous fashion statement. As Sean says, they are calling Israel racist state, they're, Zionist entity, which, by the way, Zionist entity is what Hamas calls Israel. But Israel is a modern, progressive, liberal, one of the only country in that region which is pro-gay, pro-gay marriage, immensely liberal. So all these students who'll be shouting about homophobia and misogyny, wouldn't they, on any other day of the week? But suddenly they appear to be on the side.
There's not much liberating Gaza from Hamas, is there?
No, there's not. They did have posters outside saying Israel's destroyed all the universities in Gaza as well, which did kind of make me laugh somewhat. I mean, I do wonder what they were teaching there anyway. But look, a joint statement from the organisers, Oxford Action for Palestine and Cambridge Palestine, read, over 100 universities across the globe have now taken bold and urgent action for Palestine. As members of these institutions, we refuse to accept our university's complicity in Israel's war crimes against the Palestinian people, and we refuse to stand by while they justify Israel's campaign of mass slaughter, starvation and displacement. Of course, it would have been nice if anyone there had bothered. We've had to call in a right of reply, despite the fact that I drove 2 hours to Oxford today to try and physically get one from a load of the people there.